Hi Aries, and welcome to your January 2020 general reading. So I am not sure how my regularity is going to be yet, but I thought I would do a Christmas reading. It's really January's reading, but as a Christmas gift. And then I'm going to see how things progress for me over the next few months. So I'm going to pull you, got the Loyal Heart card. Gemini got that as well, actually. Additional guidance card. So the Loyal Heart card is about seeing evidence of someone's sort of commitment to you. Very, very good card to get. What I said to Gemini is sometimes there's a feeling that, sometimes we have a perception, oh, this person's not for me or whatever it is. The Loyal Heart card shows evidence of someone's commitment, their sense of loyalty, their sense of devotion to us. So a very, very beautiful, beautiful card to have here in the month of January. So I'm going to do a throw of the cards. It'll be basic general. A few signs have had the most complex readings ever, and I've had to. And a few signs have had really straightforward, to the point readings. And actually, as January, Mars will be going from Scorpio to Sagittarius, so things are going to really lighten up for you. Sagittarius is also about vision, travel, maybe going for some adventures. Mars and Scorpio, which I have natally, is shadow work. Sometimes being in grief, sometimes being in a little bit of a scorpionic time. But Scorpio is where the soul's work's at. None of us can bypass it, by the way. But things will get lighter for you as Mars moves out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius. So I can imagine that would be a very expansive couple of months for you. So let's do a throw of the cards for Aries. So behind you, oh dear, Five of Swords. So a little bit of with the Hermit card. The Five of Swords is a card about, it's a card of mental, not mental, but it can be an argumentative card, Aries, basically. Mars and Scorpio is very, very, very intense energy. Yeah. There might be some dialogue, some conversations that have been a little bit challenging here. Let me just carry on, see what's going on. What you want is the Ten of Swords. Now, the Ten of Swords is the ending of a chapter. I love the Ten of Swords because it actually means the difficulties are past and you're moving on to lighter waters. I pair the Ten of Swords with the Fool card because it's a little bit like a surrender. So a surrender is like, an example would be, I only want peace in my life. Yeah, and it's like, it's a massive, massive spiritual change when we get the Ten of Swords. I read it as one of my favourite cards. I don't read the way that a lot of other readers read. It's just me. The gift is the Eight of Wands, which is potential travel, communication, very, very expansive energy. And this is helping you get the Ten of Swords, which means it looks like what I meant. Mars going into Sagittarius will be much more lighter because Scorpio can be a bit confrontation. It's shadow work 101, I tell you. And it's not for the faint-hearted. I have it natally, guys, and I tell you, this is moving to much more lighter waters and hopefully not as much confrontation. But maybe when you get to the Ten of Swords, it gets to that realization, it's like I need to do something. So a classic example, if you want to live at peace, then there's steps that we need to take in order to make changes. It's that sort of thing, and that's what growth and evolution is, Aries. So we don't judge ourselves. Let me carry on. Challenge is a 2 of Swords. Relationships, lovely. You've got the 3 of Pentacles, which is about pulling together forces to get, 3 of Pentacles is a really good relationship card because it's working as a team. Money and work, you've got the 2 of Cups. 2 of Pentacles at a soul level. You've got a lot of 2s, which is about balance. Then you get the Queen of Pentacles. So anything after the Queen of Pentacles. Hold on. Oh, you get the Wheel. Lovely, actually, because the Queen of Pentacles can be it can be a person. It can be very good financial news. I mean, some people say the King comes after the Queen. No. I definitely don't read it that way. But potentially very, very financially secure. And then the Wheel shows up. Now the peacock gets its tail because it's eaten its thorns. Yeah. So there might have been some difficulties, some challenges. And as we transform those challenges, transmutation, alchemy, that's when we become a king and queen in the tarot. It's not like the UK where you're born into it. It's real spiritual growth that gets us into a king and queen. And it tends to be about beginning to own those challenging parts of us. But the Queen of Pentacles with the Wheel of Fortune looks like there's potentially some very good financial news coming for you. The 5 of Swords for the Hermit card. So the Hermit card is about spending time in quite deep reflection. It's the Virgo card. So some of you are desiring to spend time on your own, to be in reflection. New Year's Eve is an incredibly important evening. It's not exactly the astrological New Year, but it's still an important ceremony. And the Hermit is really wanting to spend time reflecting on the past, because it's as we reflect on the past and make decisions. What did I do well? What did I not do so well? And how can I work to overcome and grow, that the real growth happens, Aries? It doesn't happen imagining figures of light. It imagines when we really own our gifts and our assets. Yeah? So might be a little bit of a conflict and a desire to be on your own, but what you want is a 10 of Swords, which is a complete, the 10 of Swords is one of these cards. To me, I pair it with the Fool card. I'll clarify. Look, told you. The Fool card carries no karma. I mean, I don't think there's many people in this world that carries no karma. A few, yeah. But we can live in a way where we don't accumulate anymore, yeah. And this is what you're looking for. There seems to be areas that you're looking for a huge change here. And especially with Chiron and Aries, Chiron is very, very deep healing in the Aries archetype. Because the Aries difficult archetype can be about conflict and fighting, as you know. But Aries is a true spiritual warrior. And maybe what you're looking for is a bit like, if these were my cards and I was reading for myself, it'd be like, oh my gosh, I so want to embrace change. I so want to embrace a new way of living and a new way of life here. Okay? Chiron was in Pisces for a long time, and Pisces is my moon and my Venus, and I had so much work to do around it. I do understand it, but that's why we came here, Aries. We came here to evolve and grow, and that's what you're looking for. These two cards together, a bit like the Tower and the Ace of Cups, the Fool and the Ten of Swords, probably my favourite combination of cards, because it's almost like being absolutely ready to birth yourself, become this brand new start, this brand new destiny. And the Eight of Wands is the gift. It's very beautiful energy. The Eight of Wands is about expansion, growth, very, very Sagittarius energy, because Sagittarius is about expansion, it's about vision, and it's helping you get this energy, which means there's new visions coming your way about what you want your future to look like, what you want to do with your life, that sort of thing. The challenge is the Two of Swords. So why is the Two of Swords a challenge? It might be that you're waiting for the wheel to turn. Quite often when the wheel appears, there's a sense of timing, a sense of a clock. And maybe you're waiting for this wheel to turn before you can bring forward to the world this very, very expansive vision you have, by the way. You know what, Aries? There's about 3 signs, 4, that got really beautiful readings, and you actually are one of them. And my favourite work as a reader is I'm a soul astrologer, and I read soul cards. So that's the way I read the cards about what's evolving, what's happening, and this is a very, very spiritual reading. The challenge is the Two of Swords, as I feel, is something that's stalemate, and because that wheel's the outcome, that would be the wheel turning, which means you might be waiting on this clock before you can launch yourself. It could be working with other people, because you get the Three of Pentacles in your relationships, which is working as a team it's working as a team, that's it. Sometimes to understand something, to make decisions, but it's pulling energy together as a common goal. And the goal's Pentacles. So it might be about some sort of practical vision, again, that you have. And this practical vision might be about travel, relocation, bringing a vision forward. Two of Cups in your money and work. So some of you might be having a relationship at work or about to. Tell me what the Two of Cups is about. Knight of Wands. So there might be someone at work. If not, you work with people in a relationship dynamic. Yeah, it's about building relationships. The Two of Cups doesn't always have to be about romance, it's about soulmates. And soulmates come in so many shapes or forms. But there's something about relationship going on and how you make a living. Two of Pentacles at soul level can be about juggling finances. And that's maybe what the Two of Swords is about. There's a bit of juggling that has to go on. I find with the Two of Pentacles, he's having to let go of a pentacle. So it tends to be a card of investing. That investment might be for you, it might be for someone else, but you're having to let go of something you're holding on to. It goes over his shoulder, which is a rainbow, which is a vision, and it lands on the earth, and eventually that seed becomes a new something, a new home, a book, a new job, who knows, whatever that Eight of Wands is about. Now the outcome of the Queen of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune is some sort of timing that you're waiting on. When the Two of Swords is a challenge, we're always dealing with that feeling of waiting for something. I actually like the Two of Swords because it's actually, in most decks, she's not in a bad position. She's got a golden blindfold on her, and she'd be like someone who's doing yoga or something. So I think if anything, this waiting is a challenge, because there's a desire. Mars in Sagittarius is going to be like that for you. Because Sagittarius is about, whoosh, I'm off. Yeah, it's the archer. It launches its energy into the world. But because of the challenge, you're dealing with something to do with time, because the clock turning is the outcome, which means I'm hoping what you're waiting for is going to manifest. But my camera keeps going really blurred. Aries, I'm really sorry. I don't know what's going on. It's all of these things that keep happening that's made me have to pull my energy back a bit. And maybe that's what's going on for you here. It's like, if it's not our bus that's coming, it's not our bus. Sometimes waiting time is not wasted time. We can get frustrated, or we can move into these energies, which is this very much more state of living in the state of the Fool card, which is a 0, which is surrender, which is very much walking down new pathways. And it's walking down new pathways without being controlled by your mind, without being in the state of fight or flight or conflict. Because conflict is so exhausting. So tell me more about the Two of Pentacles at a soul level. Get the Emperor coming up, which is your own card, Aries. I am and I will. But the Two of Pentacles is about juggling different sets of circumstances. So a classic example of someone who works and has a business, someone who juggles a relationship with a very creative life. There's always a sense of juggling. And because you're Aries, you're always having to juggle your own independent self-discovery with the needs of other people. That's what you're here to juggle. Your whole destiny will be that way. So that's what the juggling is. And maybe some Aries are planning to go on some brand new adventure. When the Queen of Pentacles shows up as the outcome, something has been overcome here. And that peacock's there, which means something's been worked through. And to go from the Five of Swords to the Ten of Swords and the Fool card, we can only do it when we really go into a big process of self-inquiry, which is the Hermit card, about what we want to change, what parts of our personality we absolutely adore, and what parts of our personality we need a little bit of sanding. And that's when the Queen gets the peacock, and that's when this peace, this radiance begins to enter. And that is always when that goddamn Wheel of Fortune turns. Yeah. I'm going to ask if there's a message for you. Something a little bit, your reading's not that straightforward for me. Is there a message more? You get the Star card. Transparency. But she shares her water. See? This is the Age of Aquarius, by the way. And the Age of Aquarius is about normal people, common people, which makes me laugh. But people like me, people like you, sharing the truth. Yeah. Star card. Is also a very big card of healing and transparency and being openness, grace, forgiveness, forgiveness of others, forgiveness of self, moving on, opening up to this divine feminine energy. And a divine feminine energy is the energy of love, and that's the end of it. There's something not a little bit complex about this Aries. I'm sorry if there is. It feels to me more a very big spiritual reading, and that's probably because Chiron's in Aries, so that's where all all the wounds of Aries are being healed, yeah. And it's big. It's big for all of us. And it seems to me this is more a very, very spiritual reading. But then Mars going into Sag. Sag is about the guru, the truth, the spiritual eye, all those things, and bringing those qualities into the world and sharing them with other people, and not from a lofty position. A lofty position is just the absence of self-esteem. The Star card is about humanity, one person to another. And yeah, there's something very complex, Aries. I really did my best. My energy is not good. I keep losing my voice. You can hear it. But I wanted to bring something into the world, really to thank all my viewers and subscribers, and still making decisions about what my future is going to be. I haven't got clarity yet. Maybe you don't either, by the way. But thank you everyone for being who you are, and I'll speak to you later, Aries. Bye.